Alrighty, guys, so we're back for Colorless Ramp, and this is a Final Fantasy Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have all four Ultima, Origin of Oblivion, 5 mana, 4/4 flying, legendary creature God. Whenever Ultima attacks, put a blight counter on target land. For as long as that land has a blight counter on it, it loses all land types and abilities and taps for a colorless. That's cool, but not really why it's in here. It's in here for this bottom ability. Whenever you tap a land for a colorless, you add an additional colorless. Okay, that's significant ramp and should easily help us get to this top end. Like Summon Bahamut is a 9 mana 9/9 flying enchantment creature saga dragon. Woo, okay, the first two chapters on this saga. Destroy up to one target non-land permanent. Chapter 3, draw 2 cards. Chapter 4, win the game. No, it's Mega Flare. This creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. So that could be a significant chunk of damage, though. We also have a portal to Phyrexia here on the top end. We have a Sire of 7 deaths. All right, we have a couple Meteor Golems. And of course, a couple Ugin here too. Honestly, I'd play with 3 Ugin if I had the third one. Right now, I don't think it's worth the craft for me. I feel like I'm going to pull it out of a random pack. So yeah, we'll see. Anyways, Ugin, Eye of the Storms is a 7 mana, 7 loyalty, legendary planeswalker. I know it's been out since the last set. I'm going to take the time to go over it because it's kind of important here on the top end. Whenever you cast a spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. It has a +2 here. You gain 3 life and draw a card. It has a 0 ability, add 3 colorless. And it has a -11 ability, which honestly, I don't think it's going to be too hard to pull off. Search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast those cards without paying their mana costs. Oh my goodness, dude. All right, so Ultima is not the only way we're ramping into that beautiful top end. We have all 4 Hedron Archives. Nice. We also have a new one here, Ring of the Lucii. This is a 4 mana legendary artifact, taps for 2 colorless. You can pay 2, tap it, pay a life, tap target non-land permanent. That could come in handy. How about some removal, guys? Not a lot of choices. We got Karn's Sylex here as a 3 of. This is one we don't see often. 3 mana legendary artifact enters tapped. Players can't pay life to cast spells or to activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So kind of doesn't work with the bottom ability on Ring of the Lucii, but that's fine. It's totally fine, bro. Anyways, it's in here for the bottom ability anyways. X, tap, exile Karn Sylex. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, we'll see if it does the thing today. It's a little slow sometimes, but we'll see, we'll see. Also, we got to be careful with the Karn Sylex because it will pop your own artifacts too. So, like Irencrag, for example, it's only a 1 of in here though, so I'm not too worried about it. Most of our early artifacts actually just end up popping themselves, like Buried Treasure. And then when you actually ramp off of the Buried Treasure later on in the game, you can use that bottom ability, 5 mana, exile it from your grave, discover 5, activate only as a sorcery. So you could discover an Ultima off a Buried Treasure, which is actually really sick. Another new one here, we have 4 Instant Ramens. It's a 2 mana artifact food with flash. When it enters, draw a card, and then it has that food ability at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it does the thing, huh? A lot of new cards to try out in here that seem pretty fun. How about a PuPu UFO? Bro, is that really how you pronounce this? Let me know in the comments. It's a 2 mana 0/4 artifact creature with flying. You can tap this and put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. That actually seems pretty good, right? But then it also has a bottom ability for 3 mana. Until end of turn, this creature's base power becomes equal to the number of towns you control. Okay, we do have a good number of towns in here. Out of 24 total mana, half of them are actually towns. Nice. Couple more cards to go over. We got a couple Soul Guide Lanterns to deal with all the graveyard things we're seeing. We also have an Elixir, which I'm not going to take the time to read right now. We'll see if it does anything today. Honorable mentions real quick, guys. Agatha's Soul Cauldron almost made the cut. Almost went the artifact route for Thran Spider would have made the cut, and Mightstone Weakstone would have made the cut too if I went the artifact route. Also, Nexus of Becoming would have been pretty sick. And some utility lands like Crawling Barrens, Demolition Field, and the Vault could have been pretty cool in here too. So what kind of utility lands actually made the cut? Well, we have 4 adventures in. When it enters, you gain 2 life. Tap it for a colorless. Nice. Arid Archway enters tapped. When it enters, return a land you control to its owner's hand. If it's a desert returned this way, then you surveil 1, and then this taps for 2 colorless. Couple blast zones because we needed more removal in here somehow. We have all 4 capital cities. Tap it for a colorless. Don't worry about the middle ability, or you could cycle this out for 2. Conduit Pylons, the other desert. When it enters, you surveil 1. Tap it for a colorless. Don't worry about the bottom ability. We have 4 gold saucers, another town. You can tap it for a colorless. Pay 2, tap it, flip a coin. If you win the flip, create a treasure token. Or you can pay 3, tap it, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card. That's cool. And then a couple of basic lands here. I just opted for wastes because that's totally fine to do. All right, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, looks like we're getting right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? Number 1, it was pretty hard to go over, man. A lot of new cards in here, so I think it's going to be pretty hard to run, too. We'll see, we'll see. And number 2, it's probably going to be pretty janky as well. Like, is it really going to be worth just going colorless when we're missing out on some really good board wipes or something that we could have packed in if we played white or something, right? Yeah, we'll give this a shot. We'll see, we'll see. 24 mana packed in. With all the ramp, 24 should be fine and dandy. We'll see though, won't we? With the UFO in here, more land actually makes a lot of sense. Without land in hand right now, we definitely go into Irencrag. Yep, mana off the top would be amazing here to ramp right into the Hedron Archive. Speaking of ramp, guys, might be up against mono green ramp. Hey, there's the 3rd mana. Awesome stuff, man. Right on time. Okay. Yeah, we stick to it. For sure. If they're ramping, we're ramping. And then also, I guess we'll get the UFO down. Yeah, the Instant Ramen flash and everything, I guess makes more sense if we had like Ugin on the board. Well, also, if we wanted just to replace it too, it makes more sense to get the UFO down, so that way maybe we can start tapping it next turn. Well, without any extra land in hand, I guess it doesn't matter if we actually tap it, huh? We just play the land. Unless we wanted surprise land on the opponent's turn. Which, yeah, I guess. It's actually pretty cool, right? Okay, they're gonna go Chocobo Kick, guys. My poor UFO. Taking 6 damage. They do get a swing then. Go an Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Oh, yeah. Mono green ramp. Well, actually, mono green landfall with Chocobo Kick, probably, right? Ugin, dude, nice. We have 6 mana already. We might as well go Ultima. Tap the Blast Zone for the Instant Ramen. But what if Ultima doesn't survive? It might be better for Archive. Archive has a better chance of survival. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, and no. Then we'll only have 4. Hold on, opponent. I'm sorry. I'm thinking, buddy. So yeah, we could go Archive, have 4 open, but a safer bet of the ramp into Ugin. Or we go Ultima and have Instant Ramen open. I guess that's fine too. And actually, Instant Ramen on our turn makes the most sense. First of all, decline. Because we could draw land that we'd want to play now. Because we could see more land next turn too. We don't find land, but that's okay. Totally fine. So the summon is out of the equation. They don't get the card draw because they didn't have another creature on the board. That's good news. Because now if green's working with just fights and bites, might be pretty hard for them to establish a creature and still hit the Ultima. Looks like they go for some ramp, guys. Okay, we might actually have the Ugin. Ooh, more mana off the top is really good. Because the lands are what the Ultima ramps with. We don't need the Instant Ramen. I'll send it. All right, Ugin. Let's go, buddy. Come on down. Let's exile that Overlord, first of all. And then I suppose we'll start with card draw. We don't need to still have Archive. Yeah, we'll go with card draw because we have Archive into the Buried Treasure too, which I don't even know how necessary that is. But we might as well do it all, right? Dude, this is brutal stuff, actually. Holy cow. I might just... No, I'll play the Buried Treasure. Like, we don't have to for the Ugin, but we'll still establish it. Swing, take out the Everywhere. Turn it into Blight. Just in case. Just in case they need other mana. So yeah, it wipes out all the other things. The Everywhere has been blighted. That's really cool, man. So ramp versus ramp, and we just really did the thing over here. Oh, the hero's colorless. Oh, nice. We'll have to actually hit the Summoner's Grimoire then when we start playing things. Actually, Portal to Phyrexia is actually in hand, isn't it? So I guess that's probably just what we do. I'll play the land over the cycle, I suppose. We'll start with some card draw, actually. I should have done that before playing the land. Yeah, Arid Archway would have been decent, but that's fine. All right, Portal to Phyrexia. And exile the Grimoire, and then they sacrifice 3 creatures. Oh, no. Oh, no. Our top end, dude. That's brutal. Okay, take out a forest. Yeah, they still have plenty of forests, though. It would take many attacks with the Ultima to take out all these forests. You know, with all this extra mana, tempted to draw on the Archive. I'll keep the Archives around. We'll see what we end up doing here on their turn. Roamer's Routine. Search your library for a basic land card. Okay. And it also has Harmonize for 5. Okay, I don't know if I've seen that one before. All right, so I think I'm going to draw 2 on one of the Archives by tapping the other Archive. Summon Bahamut. Wow, okay. Also, guys, we have the -11 on the Ugin, which I guess would be worthwhile. Another Ultima. Holy cow, dude. I don't even know where to start half the time. I mean, I guess we -11 Ugin. I guess. We grab everything? Maybe? Another Ugin for sure. I guess we don't need another Ultima on the board. We have them in hand. Like, is this worth it? The opponent's letting us play it out, so... Yeah, I guess we don't need all the... Well, we might as well get these down. Soul Guide Lantern. As long as they don't find, like, some kind of insane wipe everything off the board. Something that I can't think of for green. Dude, we're gonna run out of time. Submit 0. We gotta go faster, dude. Oh, yeah, GG opponent, GG. We were about to, like, go through our timer. Actually, we didn't have a timer saved up either, so... Yeah, it was to the point of the game where it was just a matter of time, but we were also kind of sort of struggling to push damage through, so the -11 on the Ugin to get the other UFOs on the board was going to be the best way to wrap up the game next turn. Against mono green, I can't think of any way that they would have been able to wipe our board. Can you guys? Is there anything? I'm not sure. Yeah. All right, we did the ramp thing versus a fellow ramp player. That was excellent. Now, what we need to do, we got to go up against some hyper aggro and see if we're capable of survival long enough to ramp into that top end. We do have a good chunk of life gain packed in and everything, right? Yeah, in that game, we weren't forced into activating Instant Ramen for life or anything, right? So, I like this hand. It doesn't have as good of ramp as the last one, but this is good. Surveil. Ultima. Hi. You're staying on top, buddy. Get the Soul Guide Lantern down. And established and ready to go for the middle ability there, just in case. Ruthless Negotiation. Instant Ramen, right? Tough decision, though. It is. Alright, so this turn is an Arid Archway turn, which I guess we could wait for turn 3. Get the capital city down, establish buried treasure, because if we see an untapped land, we could ramp. No, that's only... Wait, 1, 2... It's only 4. So I guess we'd rather surveil for the turn. So I guess we can activate that. Bounce the pylons back, but we don't have a 1 mana thing to do. The Ring of the Lucii is probably worth keeping on top, right? Okay. Alright, sweet. Yeah, we'll have 3 mana next turn, regardless. It was tempting to get the buried treasure, but also just not really worth it. Going the surveil for the turn, much better. Oh, crap. Get out of my hand, opponent, you monster! I don't really want to get rid of our top end, but... I don't want to get rid of the land either. This is a tough decision, man. I guess buried treasure is too bad it's exile, actually, because buried treasure would be the easy choice if it was a discard. Being able to use the bottom ability again. All right, let's get the surveil on the conduits. Ugin. Crap, dude. I don't know. Yeah, I guess. With Ugin here, the next discard will be the Bahamut, I would say, right? We have cycling on the capital city, but we actually just really want that on the board, so... Next, and... Yeah, the way it's highlighting this is a little confusing. That's the cycle ability, not actually playing a land. We already played the pylons for the turn. Which, of course, you can cycle at instant speed, so... Ooh, it might not be anything from the opponent here. They must have a handful of removal spells, maybe? Alright. Ring of the Lucii. And Mono Black should have some trouble with removing artifacts. Yeah, losing our early artifacts here, probably not the greatest thing to do. Probably not the greatest cards to exile. I don't know, man. Did I make a good decision? Oh, Shieldred's a problem. We got to get this top end down. We got, we have 6 mana. An untapped mana off the top would be amazing. Because right into Ugin then. Ooh, nice. Okay. Now we're talking, dude. Come on down, Ugin. Yes. So Mono Black does know how to deal with Planeswalkers, though. Still, gonna get some... Oh, GG opponent. Wow, dude, wow. I mean, against the right deck list, you are gonna have enough time to establish the ramp. I'm a little concerned about the 25 mana guys, I am, but with all 4 Arid Archways, 24 should be enough, right? Because it kinda takes the place of extra lands, kinda, sort of, if we want to think of it that way. Yeah, against a deck list that only has a bunch of spot removal, which I'm guessing was a lot of the opponent's hand. And since they conceded to the Ugin, I'm guessing Bitter Triumph was not one of those pieces of spot removal. Instead, maybe go for the throat and stuff. All right, guys, let's keep the ball rolling. 2 victories by some miracle, I would say. I'm still leaning towards this is probably jank, right? All right, let's keep this. None of our top end in hand, but plenty of good things to do here. So we're going to start with the surveil on turn 1. Arid Archway is excellent. Yeah, even if we're ramping, we got to remember the buried treasure. Discover 5 is really good. Okay, instead of the Arid Archway here, though, we are going to actually get the UFO down. Okay, it wasn't a cut down. That's good news. Yeah, since we have extra mana in hand, it's actually pretty good to establish the UFO. So now we can successfully ramp into Archive and still play a Buried Treasure, which is crazy business, man. That's really crazy. Blast Zone. Archive. Buried Treasure. Holy cow, guys. Guys. I cannot believe that. What turn is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana on the board. We're ready for Ugin, dude. Holy cow. What do I even want to do? I guess we can hop the Buried Treasure. Discover. We have draw on Archive, but then we're losing 2 mana, and we don't want to forget the Archway, but we'll wait on the Archway, right? Doesn't really matter. We'll generate a red source off the Buried Treasure. Yeah, we'll see. Gonna bounce the inn back for life gain? No, bounce the pylon back. I apologize, opponent. To all of my opponents, I apologize, bro. This one's melting my brain a little bit. Ah, just a Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, that's fine. The other Buried Treasure, get it ready for discovering next turn, I suppose. And then we play Archway, bounce the Pylons back, Surveil, Meteor Golem. I'm keeping that on top. Yeah, any of our top end we're keeping on top, period. I guess we have ramp. Pop the Buried Treasure, play the other UFO. I guess still keep the Meteor Golem on top. Done. We want the Buried Treasure in the grave anyways. This is crazy, dude. All right, well, yeah, if we didn't want to send Meteor Golem. Now, there could be better top end underneath the Golem, but Bloodletter, wow, forced into a block here. But luckily, Meteor Golem picks up the Bloodletter. Now, Golem is destroy, so we don't necessarily want to hit the Unstoppable Slasher. It is probably better just to hit the Bloodletter and worry about the Slasher through blocks, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that could be... There's a problem. Yeah, if they play a second Bloodletter... This is definitely what we do, though. Okay. I guess that's that. We got to keep an eye on our Blast Zone, too, guys. But Blast Zone... Hey, before Unstoppable Slasher comes back, could we use the Soul Guide Lantern middle ability? How does that work on the stack? Let me read the Slasher real quick. When this creature dies, if it had no counters on it, return it to the battlefield tapped. So it does go to the graveyard first, right? Then we could use the Soul Guide Lantern. That seems pretty cool. I still think the Bloodletter was the target for the Golem, though. Yeah, for this game, we ramped so well. Anoint with Affliction. You monster opponent. I tapped the UFO. And that's all we could do with it. I'll take that trade. Yeah, because we have the Soul Guide Lantern, they do not accept that trade. All right. They lose 2, draw a card. Yeah, we might have to draw on the Archive. Wow, Portal. Wait, we don't have enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have enough for Ugin, but not for Portal. So we should probably start with the Buried Treasure then. I have 2 open over there. Won't be able to tap the Archive. Yeah, we want 2 land open in case we hit Ultima. We hit PuPu UFO. Okay, I mean, it's not terrible. Now we do have Blast Zone open to get to 2. counters on it total, so that'll be good. I'm going to keep the Golem as a blocker. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of better stuff we could have hit on the buried treasures. Like even another archive would have been really good. That would have ramped us into the 9 for the portal. Archfiend of the Dross. Woo. That's a problem. Yep, because now we're going to start taking the Unholy Annex damage here. They do say we accept this trade now. Should I get the full control ready just in case? Yeah, we should be able to use Soul Guide Lantern before it comes back, right? All right, I'm on full control here just in case. Yeah, it goes on the stack, and then we can activate Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, so that is probably fine. There we go. Okay, now we're down to 22. I don't know why this is melting my brain, bro. All right, let's go ahead and activate this, put a counter on it. Because we have nothing else to do for the turn, so. Although, yeah, the opponent goes back up to 4 cards. Capital City isn't terrible. Losing the Archive means even less ramp. We should honestly probably just play the Capital City as a land. We're in danger, dude. Yeah. Man, the ramp was so significant, though. You know what? We'll play the Capital City as a land on their turn with the UFO, just for fun. Just for fun, right? That's totally fine. Also, we can get Blast Zone to 4 with all this extra mana. Actually, keeping the UFO open with Capital City gives us an option to actually cycle this out if we wanted to. They're going to go for the swing, and I'm just going to accept the 6 damage, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't want to lose the UFO. I think there's a better block in its future, especially since Go for the Throat is still a lot of people's choice spot removal. So being an artifact creature is pretty significant. 7 mana for the opponent. Oh, another Unholy Annex, guys. Crap, we are getting drained. Maybe X's 3 on Blast Zone is better. All right, let's put a charge counter on it. Yeah, let's get it to X's 3. Oh, wait a minute, guys. I should have waited to do that. But they knew the Blast Zone was on the board. I should have waited till the very end of the turn. All right, now we're at the end of the turn. Let's put the land down, because if we see another untapped source, we will have Portal. Either way, we're probably going to have to Blast Zone the Unholy Annex. We're going down to 10. Okay. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm playing this one out very well, honestly. It's a lot of tough decisions. Buried treasure. Wait, we have 9 mana? Oh, we have 9 mana. Wow. I miscounted. Huh. Blast Zone's probably still the better bet, though, right? Right? Yeah, probably. As long as they don't have us discard the portal to a card, right? Then we'll still play Buried Treasure, and then that'll still be 9 mana. Alright, man. I'm dazed, confused. Let's take care of those Unholy Annex. And get the Buried Treasure down. And then we still have 3 open for the UFO's bottom ability, but it'll just be a 3/4. We're probably going to be forced into that chump this time round. So, no attacks. End turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That the Arid Archway. I wasn't counting the second colorless on the Archway. That's why. All right. I mean, they kept their hand nice and stocked up with the Unholy Annex. I think that was, like, definitely the best bet. Oh, Ritual Chamber. They don't know we have Portal to Phyrexia in hand. So they go Ritual Chamber side. No, they still have open mana for the Unholy Annex. Dude, they have so much mana over there. Oh, crap. Okay, yep. We should jump, for sure. Jump. And you know what? They're tapped out. Let's use that bottom ability. Yeah, there we go. Now, if we could actually get the Archfiend to 0 oil. Then if there's no oil count, yeah, we won't survive without the portal though. So, okay, gold saucer. And we don't have to use the buried treasure here. Portal to Phyrexia. We could still die this turn, guys, because they have Soulstone Sanctuary. Powered up, swing for 3, Unholy Annex does 2, and they'll still have open mana for maybe a 4th Annex. Which would be a little unlucky for us, honestly, but no. Okay, down to 1. The opponent's at 28. We're in danger. So, number 1, Meteor Golem. Get that ETB. Pop the Sanctuary. Oh, wait a minute. Non-land. Oh, popping the Annex is still really good, isn't it? It is, it is. Karn's Sylex is also non-land, guys, so... There's so many tough decisions. What on earth, dude? Where do I start? I guess Buried Treasure Discover? Oh my goodness, man. I apologize. Like, what do I do on any given turn here? Also, Sylex comes in tap. We have to remember that. Ultima. Yeah, dude. All right. 8 more swings and they won't have any swamps. We'll be good to go. Man. Okay. So each of these tap in for 2 now. We can do this and that and get the Karn Sylex down. Coming down tapped, hitting non-land permanents. It's like Ultima's gonna bite the dust here. There's the go for the throat. Yeah, Ultima's not an artifact creature. So while we have it, I guess I'm gonna draw 2 cards, guys. While we have the mana from the Ultima. Actually, we still would have had enough because we still have an open floating one over here. All right. If Meteor Golem also bites the dust next turn, we die to the Sanctuary Swing. Or if they play Shieldred, or if they play Unholy Annex. Number 4. Creature the Schism. A good one. Yeah, they gotta be a little bit careful here with Portal set up. If we survive too many turns, yeah, they're gonna hold back. So at that point, we can bring Ultima back, or Archfiend's pretty decent if we want to start swinging in the air, but I'm pretty sure Ultima is better for us, especially with Buried Treasure in hand. Instant Ramen. Okay, we'll start with that, because we do have life gain packed in, so... Uh-oh, Ultima. Crap. Here comes the go for the throats, huh? Yeah. That's a problem. Okay. I was thinking about the gold saucer, but that's not doing anything realistically for us right now. Let's see what we draw. Summon Bahamut. Yes. This is also non-land, though. Dude, that Sanctuary is a menace for this build. All right, so if we establish Buried Treasure, we will have 5 for Discover 5, but it's probably much safer just to go Instant Ramen for the turn, right? And maybe try to generate a treasure token off the coin flip, which might get us closer to the Bahamut. Preacher the Schism. We don't want to do that. Buried Treasure. I'm so sorry, opponent, dude. I'm thinking, buddy. Send help, guys. Yes, I'm like 90% positive we have to gain life on the Instant Ramen, take the 2 from the Preacher back down to 2, and block the Sanctuary with the Meteor Golem. I'm pretty sure that's all we can do, and then we'll have Gold Saucer open as well. Yeah. Okay, no attacks. End the turn. Now, Ugin. Ugin would be crazy, man. It'd be really, really good. They found their 10th mana. Get some card draw. Hopefully miss the 4th Annex. Block their demon. Pop the Instant Ramen. Oh, I tapped. Oh no, guys. Watch out for Auto Tapper. I tapped the Gold Saucer. I was totally going to use that ability and get the buried treasure to the grave this turn too, but I guess we'll just use the extra buried treasure mana. Oh, no, my Bahamut. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 mana short from the Bahamut. No, Deep Cavern Bat. Why? What are we grabbing here with the portal, by the way? Because that's actually Bahamut could have been played. Well, I guess Meteor Golem comes back. That's really good. I was going to say all we had to do was play Ultima back from the grave, then Bahamut, but now we can just go right into the Bahamut. Well, yeah, Deep Cavern Bat also flies over our blockers, especially if they have another removal source for it. Wow, we do find the mana. Holy cow, guys. Now we're talking, bro. We're in this. Until they top deck their Shieldred, we're in this. Oh my goodness, man. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. Go for the throat number 3 from the opponent, right? Dude, what a match. This is probably going to have to be the last game of the evening, too. And what a great one. Oh, now if any creature dies, we die. No, it is go for the throat number 3. Really good game, opponent. Really good. Hopefully I played it out well enough for you guys. For real. If we would have seen more of our top end a little sooner, that's going to happen sometimes in ramp builds, though. It actually, not just sometimes. Sometimes it's every other game in ramp builds where you see significant ramp and then none of your top end. And it just happens because like it is significant ramp because all you are seeing is your ramp pieces, right? So really cool, man. Hey, I forgot to bring this up in the middle of the video, I'm pretty sure. But all the YouTube stuff down in the description, there's the Discord link as well as the Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And also, guys, if you liked the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then please consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. So thank you, guys. I do appreciate you. All right. Colorless Ramp did way better than I was thinking, dude. But maybe I shouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of goodies in here. Instant Ramen. How do we feel about this? Like, is this necessary? What could we trade out for the Instant Ramen? Would Candy Trail just be a little better or something? I don't know. I do like that we can flash this in on the opponent's turn and replace itself. And when you're flashing this in on the opponent's turn, what that works well with is, of course, keeping it open with Ugin's top passive ability, right? So a third Ugin would make more sense when we do have all 4 Instant Ramen in here. Other than that, more life gain in that last match would have been really good. So even more Instant Ramen off the top actually would have just been great draws. Like actually really good draws since it replaces itself too. And then also we didn't hit very well on the buried treasure the first couple times. We hit a soul guide lantern, which actually came in handy to keep the slasher exiled, which was really cool, I guess, right? Yeah, a little bit of anti-synergy between the middle ability on the Sylex and the bottom ability on the Ring of Lucii, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, you want to pay 1 life sometimes, tap down a permanent, but other times the Ring is just acting as a 5th Hedron Archive. So, like, there's a reason I don't have 3 rings in here instead, or something like that. So, it is a really cool ability, but the Legendary Artifact is going to hold you up sometimes, especially in this build where, you know, a lot of these artifacts are just sticking around on the board, like, regardless of what the opponent's doing. It is a little bit harder to remove artifacts. So, Ultima. I didn't have to craft any of these guys. I pulled all of these from the pre-order packs, which is pretty cool. Is it worth the 4 of? It's significant ramp, but we don't need all 4. We could live with 3 quite successfully, and I don't know, man. We need, like, even more life gain somehow. Karn Sylex also just didn't do the thing today. What could we replace, though? Like, what could we actually put in Karn Sylex's place where we gain life or something instead? Guys, we didn't see hyper aggro today either. Maybe Karn Sylex would make more sense against hyper aggro. When you are seeing that, just X's 2 on the Sylex could be enough to just completely turn the tides. It's each non-land permanent. You could pick up multiple Quarry Steel Cutters with the Sylex. as long as you survived long enough to get to that point, because you're still looking at turn 3 enters tapped, turn 4 is the turn that you wipe the board, but you've warned the opponent that you have the board wipe so they can play around the Sylex that's actually on the board then. But what other options do we have for real? Let me know in the comments if you could think of anything. Guys, go ahead, put it on the do not craft list. Put everything on the do not craft list for the first couple weeks of any new set. And also, guys, this is a pretty expensive deck list too. Let's do some rearranging here. Uncommons, uncommons, buried treasures common, and criminally underplayed. We talked a bit about that before. Instant Ramen, common, okay. PuPu UFO is uncommon. If you would have told me a couple years ago that I was going to be saying PuPu on YouTube, I wouldn't have believed you, period. But here we are, and maybe I'm just pronouncing it wrong. I don't know. Irencrag's rare. Karn Sylex is mythic. Archive, uncommon. Ring of the Lucii is uncommon. Okay. What else? We have rares in Ultima. Ugin, like that's a lot of uncommons and commons actually. It's relatively budget friendly, but no, now we're getting into the expensive stuff. Ugin is mythic. Meteor Golem, uncommon, guys. Summon Bahamut's mythic. Portals mythic. Sire of Seven Deaths is mythic. So a lot of our top end is mythic, but honestly, this is not as bad as I thought. What about the mana? Blast Zone is rare. Gold Saucer is uncommon. Waste is a basic. Conduit is common. Capital City's uncommon. Archway's uncommon. Adventures in is common. This is like bizarrely budget friendly. I don't like, my brain was telling me, oh dude, this is expensive, right? But this is weird actually. There's a lot of commons and a lot of uncommons. Now uncommons do dwindle really fast. Don't get me wrong. Like they will disappear if you're not careful. Especially if you're crafting like a whole deck list of uncommons or something. Yeah, they'll disappear pretty fast. But anyways, guys. What else do I have to say about this? I'm kind of blanking. It was hard to play. It was melting my brain a little bit. But I think that's just because it's well outside of my comfort zone too. I think a little bit of practice, like maybe another 5 games, I'd build up enough confidence to say this is what the deck list is doing. I know when and where to play the Arid Archway, what to bounce back, and when and where to, right? A lot of the times, if you already have the other Conduit Pylons, you're going to probably prioritize Desert. But there's going to be other moments too where Arid Archway into Adventures In, play the Adventures In, gain 2 life is going to be really, really significant. Look, in that last game, right? We might have gotten unlucky in that last game, honestly, guys. We might have. And what's crazy about that is triple annex from the opponent, just keeping their hand stocked. Even the vampire coming down, stocking up their hand even further too, right? It's kind of crazy how well we kept up with top of the meta demons. Anyways, another Adventures In off the top, another Instant Ramen off the top. We could have found Instant Ramen on the Buried Treasure Discover. Another Arid Archway off the top, Bounce and Adventures In, anything like that could have kept us in an extra turn, which would have been significant just in general, especially since we had Portal established and Portal was bringing back creatures left and right, bringing back Meteor Golem and Ultima and all that fun stuff. If they popped the Bahamut, we could have brought that back on the Portal to Phyrexia too. I mean, this is actually kind of crazy, right? Like there's crazy synergies. If you can pull off the ramp and survive the early game from the onslaught of hyper aggro that we're seeing left and right, then there's actually power here. Yeah. Also, PuPu UFO probably wants more mana. I could see the 25th mana easy peasy, just go up like a wastes, or in the sideboard I had honorable mentions with some other utility lands that could be completely fine in here. You could go up more towns too. There's probably some towns that we could choose from. Maybe. You probably want to choose a town that's coming in untapped though. The only tapped lands are actually the Arid Archway. Everything else is coming in untapped, which is actually really good. So, okay, guys. If I wanted to go up that 25th mana too, I might just drop the Irencrag, especially since we are rocking Sylex. But if like we dropped the Sylex, then I would keep the Irencrag. Maybe if we dropped all 3 Sylex and actually found a 3-drop that gained us life somehow, right? Like we'd only play 2 of them, and then that 3rd Sylex that we drop would be the 25th mana for a 3rd Wastes or something, or another town. Yeah, we still want the town because the UFO is actually one of the ways that we could win by flying in with that bottom ability and just having a whole bunch of open mana for that bottom ability being activated too. Like flying in with a couple, even if it's just a 4/4 UFO, a couple of those every turn, that'll wrap you up the game pretty fast. You're also flying in with Ultima too, so we're flying over all the opponent's chump blockers. This was freaking sick, man. I liked this. A really hard one for me, though, so I apologize. Hopefully I played it well. Let me know in the comments if I did. Let me know what you thought of the deck list. What would you add or take out? And I think that's everything. Enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. And I will see you in the next video.